Doug Pederson coming back to the place where they have a statue of him with Nick Foles. Both men employed by the Jaguars, but at different times. Foles was the starter there until he got injured, and it just didn't work, and he was gone. Doug Pederson now the head coach, and it's working, and they're back. And it's the Jaguars at the Eagles, 2-1 Jacksonville, 3-0 Philadelphia. Buy or sell as we do this Week 4 grab bag. Doug Pederson hands the Eagles their first loss of the season in his return to the place from which he was fired, Chris.
Well, all right, like this is like I don't want to buy or sell completely here, okay? I'm going to make people watch the podcast, our Joint Picks podcast. I'm not going to give you a total pick here, but I'm going to buy this. If you don't think Jacksonville can go in and upset Philadelphia, I think people are crazy. You know, I understand Philly's the better team and a little more battle-tested. Jacksonville is real. They are real. They are not going to be physically outclassed or overmatched in this football game. Now, whether they can win the game or not, hey, that's a whole different story. But I can tell you that I buy the fact that this will be a competitive football game, and the Eagles aren't going to be able to just march over them like they did the Lions for 3 quarters or Washington last week. That's where I'm going to do it. I don't want to give away, any of that yet and give all the great details. People got to watch our podcast. That's a big deal here, okay? But, yes, I do think they can go on the road and have the potential to do this. They're not going to be, like an awe or, oh, no, Philly's so good, we can't stop it. The Jags roster is one of the best in football.
And I'll agree with you there. I'm not tipping my pick. Anybody that wants to know what we think of the game so they can bet the opposite, tune in for the Joint Mega Picks podcast coming up later today. I will say this, though, and not that the Philly fan base is going to listen to me. I got no problem with you booing Jalen Reagor last Monday. I mean, what did he ever do for you or to you?
Yeah.
But I hope to God they don't boo Doug Pederson. The guy delivered the only Super Bowl championship in franchise history, and he got fired. He didn't choose to leave.
That's right.
He'd still be the coach there.
Right.
He got fired. He was told to leave. He didn't let his contract expire and then go take a job somewhere else. He didn't try to muscle his way out of town. He didn't cause any trouble for anybody. He got fired. So you don't boo him.
You
boo
better
Santa
not.
Claus. Boo anybody else. But don't boo the guy that won you your only Super Bowl championship, please.
I'm with you there. I am, and to that fact, I should have brought this up. There's going to be added incentive because of that from Doug Pederson. Those players in that locker room are going to know what's going on here. Those assistant coaches are going to relay to their players in their own little individual meeting rooms how important this is. So, yeah, he came up with Philly to screw over New England. He might come up with up yours in this one right here, too. So they better be ready for that
Howie.
stuff. Yeah.
I think the play should be Howie.
Yeah. Howie, how the hell did you let me out of here? Yeah, I know. So that's, I think, a real element that plays into the game.
And it was a power struggle, apparently, obviously. And see, Howie Roseman's smart, very smart. His audience of one is Jeffrey Lurie. And he knows what Lurie wants. He gives Lurie what he wants. We talk about this all the time. It's the billionaire's prerogative. And the billionaire doesn't have to say, I want this. The people working for the billionaire are smart enough to figure it out and give him what he wants, and it all works out well. And Howie's just tied to the owner and lets the owner dabble and doesn't say boo about it and takes the blame when the owner's decisions don't go well. Doug Pederson got shoved out, and Eagles fans should not take it out on him because he would still be there again if they hadn't told him to leave. Patriots at Packers. Scale of 1 to 10. What is your confidence level in the Green Bay receivers heading in to Week 4, especially at a time when Romeo Doubs, the 4th-round rookie, seems to be emerging as the best option available to Aaron Rodgers?
Yes. They got to get him the ball more. He's the one guy right now with Christian Watson being out of the lineup that can do something a little bit. Randall Cobb's nice and all that. This guy has some special gifts that he can contribute to the football team. So confidence level, I'm gonna put it at I'm gonna say a 6 right now. But it's going in the right direction. It's trending in the right direction. Again, that game there last week, they didn't throw the ball down the field very much. It was just Aaron Rodgers throwing the quickest, fastest RPOs you've ever seen in your life, and really, I think he's probably the only guy in the NFL that could consistently do that quick with that kind of pace and that kind of accuracy over and over. But they are growing, and I guess my confidence is like higher as far as I think they're going to be in the right spots and all that. How many plays they're going to make, that's the part that I'm still like, I don't know yet. And they got to give guys like him the ball a little bit more. So I'll go with a 6 right now. How about you?
I'd say I'm still at a 5. I still think it's a work in progress.
Yeah, I hear you.
There aren't enough guys.
Right.
And more guys need to step up, and they only scored 14 points.
I know,
the defense won them that game in Tampa Bay, so the offense still has some work to do. Broncos at Raiders, buy or sell. The Broncos offense will put up more than 20 points against the Las Vegas defense. Denver is averaging 14.3 points per game this year. That is second fewest in the NFL, Chris.
Yeah, they're a defensive football team, and they're a running football team right now. I'll buy that they get there, but it ain't going to be by much. I mean, it'll be close. And the one thing you can count on the Raiders is they'll have the right tactical approach in playing the game. They will. The problem is the Raiders they have no talent on defense. They have nothing. It's Max Crosby, and other than that, I don't know if anybody's name gets called more than 2 or 3 times a game. And that's their real issue. But I'll buy that, they get over 20. But it'll be 20 or 23. I don't think it's going to be much over that.
Raiders are giving up on average 25.7 points per game. That is 24th in scoring defense. I think that the Broncos won't get to 20. I don't want to get ahead of what is coming later in the day, where I have to sit here with searing back pain for another hour and make our picks one at a time. But this Raiders are 0-3, Broncos are 2-1. There's something wrong with both halves of that picture. I don't think it's going to be a good day for Denver in Las Vegas. Chiefs at Buccaneers, fill in the blank, with both teams looking to bounce back from Week 3 losses. This game will come down to what, Chris?
Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid's ability to come up with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid's ability to be patient. That's maybe the better way to put it. Todd Bowles, we know it's creative. He wants to pressure you, play some cool zone coverages behind it. But we saw, right? We just talked about this the last segment. Or 2 segments ago. When they played that way in the regular season matchup back in 2020, it was bombs away, and they should have obliterated Tampa more than they did. The Super Bowl, what happened? Todd Bowles broke the mold and said, you know what? Damn it. I'm going to play deep zones and deep coverage and see if they can work underneath and be patient. And there wasn't the inventory of plays to attack what Tampa was doing. And then Mahomes got impatient. So that's what I think will be the big thing. And I think that's going to be the key to the game for me.
And look, I'll flip it just a little bit. It comes down to that Buccaneers defense, because we know the Tampa Bay offense. Now, they're getting some of their receivers back, but there's just something missing there. The offense is not scoring points like it did last year. 30 points per game last year, 17 points per game so far this year. Tom Brady's yards per attempt, Peter and I were talking about this on Friday, it's down near 6.5. That is not Tom Brady-like in the latter stage of his career, where he's become a passing machine and getting the ball down the field.
Yes.
They're not getting the ball down the field. 6.5. It used to be 7 was a big deal. Now 7 is just kind of a given. Like 8 and 9 is where you want to be. 6.5 is just, that is not what the Buccaneers need to have the kind of offense that they're used to.
Yeah, it's a great point. They're still looking to make those throws, and let me just Brady he's throwing it phenomenal. If you're open by a quarter of an inch down the field, he's going to throw it, and he's going to throw a strike, and it's going to be a completion. I really love that about him. But right now he doesn't have the people that he can even throw the ball down the field. Like even in that game last week against Green Bay, they were attacking, but there was nobody open some of the times on those plays down the field. So he had to throw it short and do some of that. He's got no choice a little, but he's looking to be aggressive. Trust me, he's as aggressive as he's ever been. That's the thing I admire about him right now. Him and Aaron Rodgers have done a role reversal in the last 5 years. Rodgers used to be the guy I'd be like, man, nobody's open, and boom, he's throwing rifles down the field, and he's carrying the team. Now he's checked down Charlie and scared to hell of throwing the ball down the football field, and Brady's just cutting it loose play after play, and it makes you dangerous. And, yeah, I think, like you said, with the weapons back this week, they'll be a little bit different on that side of the ball.
Rams at 49ers on Monday Night Football. What's more likely, the 49ers get revenge for losing to the Rams in the NFC Championship game, or the 49ers have another disjointed performance like we saw in primetime on Sunday night, where you and I were both stunned by that final outcome?
Yes. Well, they blew too many opportunities to kind of control the game. And Jimmy G, reminded us all of why they wanted to get rid of him and why they have, traded to pick number 3. I mean, you talk about me being the meathead in the gym. Well, I mean, this play is made for this. Gone. See you later.
Wait. I called Jimmy Garoppolo a meathead the other day, and I got some nasty emails that I was being mean to Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Don't call him stupid. Well, you can only do so many stupid things before people come to the conclusion that you are indeed stupid.
Listen, I'm not going to go as far as saying he's stupid, but I'm going to say he's a meathead, and he does some meathead things every now and then where, you just picture him and be like all handsome and stuff and like, which way's the weight room? Like as he's flexing his like bicep muscle like Chris Farley and Tommy Boy. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's just things that happen where you just go, how does this happen? As much as you've played and some of the mistakes and the missed throws and all of it. That's where it's crazy. But with the 49ers, traditionally, when their back's against the wall here and Jimmy G is the quarterback, they find some way to bounce back and win the football game. So, they're going to be like you've talked about. They're 1-2. They don't want to be 1-3. That makes life very hard as we go down the stretch here.
And, it's funny. And I understand Trey Lance is injured, and I feel badly about what happened to him, and we still don't know what he's going to become. He's going to be under so much pressure next year to finally fulfill the potential.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be the 3rd overall pick. It's another thing to be the 3rd overall pick that a team traded up, giving up 2 extra first-round picks to use the 3rd overall pick on you, plus a 3rd-rounder. Puts extra pressure on the kid.
No doubt.
And he didn't ask for this. But the fact that they felt compelled to keep Jimmy around, I think tells us more than we want to know.
No doubt about it.
What they really thought of Trey Lance before he got injured.
Mike, I don't disagree with you at all. I think we've been saying this, and we said it that week. They did not want to keep Jimmy G. They have been doing everything to get rid of him for 3 years. Everything. And here he is back in the fold because they went, I don't know if Trey Lance is better than Jimmy. We need to keep him around. We don't know what the hell's going to happen. So that is scary. Like you're saying, along with the pressure to go along with it, is going to make it, very interesting next year evaluating Trey Lance.
And a prime opportunity for Jimmy Garoppolo to lay the foundation for his next contract. But if he keeps playing like he did on Sunday night, no one's going to be interested in him in March of 2023. They weren't interested in March of 2022 because he had surgery. They're not going to be interested in March of 2023 because of how he played in 2022 if he keeps it up. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.